What if you just stopped eating? Not skipping a meal, not a one-day fast, but a full 30 days without food. It sounds extreme, it sounds dangerous. And in some ways it absolutely is, but what actually happens inside your body during that time is one of the most extraordinary survival stories in all of biology. Your body doesn't just give up, it transforms, and the timeline of that transformation will genuinely surprise you. Let's start with the first few hours because most people get this wrong. The moment you stop eating, your body doesn't immediately start burning fat. It actually reaches for something much closer, the sugar it has already stored. Glucose is the brain's preferred fuel, and your body keeps a ready reserve of it in your liver and muscles in a form called glycogen. Think of glycogen as your body's petty cash drawer, always nearby, quick to access. For roughly the first 12 to 24 hours of fasting, that's what's being spent. Around the 24-hour mark, something shifts. The petty cash is running out. Insulin levels, which spike whenever you eat, have now dropped significantly. And that drop is like a key turning in a lock. It signals fat cells to start releasing stored fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your body is now beginning to access its long-term reserves. This is the moment most people imagine when they think of burning fat. But it's more complicated and more remarkable than that simple phrase suggests. Here's where it gets genuinely interesting. Your brain cannot directly burn fat. Fat molecules are too large to cross the blood-brain barrier. So your liver steps in and performs a kind of biochemical alchemy. It converts fatty acids into smaller molecules called ketone bodies. And your brain can run on ketones, remarkably well in fact. This metabolic state, where ketones become the dominant fuel, is called ketosis. And it typically kicks in fully somewhere between 2 and 4 days into a fast. Your body has essentially switched fuel systems, like an engine running on a completely different type of gas. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Once ketosis is established, many people who are medically supervised in fasting report that the intense hunger they felt in the first 2 days actually begins to ease. This isn't folklore. Researchers have documented that ketone bodies appear to have an appetite-suppressing effect, and that the hunger hormone ghrelin, which surges early in a fast, often levels off. Your body is adapting. It's not giving up, it's getting strategic. And this adaptation is ancient, written into your DNA by hundreds of thousands of years of feast and famine. Think about what your ancestors actually lived through. There were no refrigerators, no grocery stores, no guaranteed meals. Periods of scarcity weren't the exception. They were woven into the rhythm of life. The humans who survived were the ones whose bodies were brilliantly engineered to endure. Your body carries that engineering right now. Every single mechanism we're about to describe, every metabolic pivot, every protein-sparing trick, every hormonal shift is a legacy of that ancient pressure to survive. By day 3 and 4, the liver is working hard, churning out ketones, and something else is happening too. A process called gluconeogenesis, which literally means making new glucose. Even in the absence of food, your body can manufacture glucose from non-carbohydrate sources, including glycerol from fat and certain amino acids. The brain still needs some glucose, not as much as before, but some. And your body will create it from scratch, rather than let you fail. This is metabolic ingenuity at its finest. Now here's where a critical question comes in, and it's one that people worried about muscle loss always ask. Where are those amino acids for gluconeogenesis coming from? Some come from dietary protein you've already digested and stored. But if the fast continues and fat stores are being mobilized efficiently, the body actually becomes quite conservative with protein. It's not in the body's survival interest to cannibalize muscle rapidly. Muscle is too valuable for movement and future food gathering. So the body prioritizes fat, and it's remarkably good at protecting muscle during extended fasting, especially in people who have adequate fat reserves to draw from. That said, and this is important, muscle loss during prolonged fasting is real. It doesn't happen as fast as people fear in the early days, but it is inevitable over weeks. By the second and third week, even with the body's protein-sparing adaptations, lean tissue is gradually being used. Studies of medically supervised extended fasts show measurable muscle loss by the end of week 2, and it accelerates toward week 4. This is one of the core reasons that extended fasting beyond a week or 2 carries serious medical risk and should never be attempted without clinical supervision. Let's talk about something most videos skip entirely: what actually happens medically during an extended fast. Blood pressure drops, heart rate slows. The body becomes exquisitely sensitive to electrolyte imbalances: sodium, potassium, magnesium, phosphate. These minerals are essential for heart rhythm and nerve function, and their levels shift during prolonged fasting in ways that can become dangerous. One of the most serious risks is something called refeeding syndrome, not during the fast itself, but when you start eating again. If you reintroduce food too quickly after a very long fast, a sudden shift in electrolytes can, in severe cases, affect the heart. This is why medical oversight isn't optional. Here's the mid-story twist that reframes everything we've covered so far. You might assume that fasting for 30 days is purely destructive, a slow dismantling of the body. But research, particularly over the last 2 decades, has revealed something more nuanced. During extended fasting, the body ramps up a cellular recycling process called autophagy, literally self-eating at the cellular level. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional organelles, cellular debris, the body begins consuming and recycling all of it. It's a deep clean at the microscopic level, and it's one of the reasons fasting research has attracted serious scientific interest, including a Nobel Prize in 2016 for the discovery of autophagy mechanisms. Yoshinori Ohsumi won that Nobel Prize in physiology or medicine for mapping how cells degrade and recycle their own components. And while most autophagy research has been done in shorter fasting windows and in animal models, the implication is striking. The same metabolic stress that makes long fasting dangerous in some ways may simultaneously trigger cellular maintenance processes that the body almost never gets to run in a world of constant eating. It doesn't make 30 days without food safe, but it makes the biology far more interesting than starvation equals damage. By the end of the first week, your body has undergone a profound metabolic reorganization. You're running primarily on fat and ketones. Your insulin is at the floor. Your growth hormone has actually spiked. Counterintuitively, fasting triggers a significant increase in growth hormone, which researchers believe helps preserve lean tissue. Your digestive system is getting a rare extended rest, and your relationship with hunger has likely changed. The gnawing, desperate hunger of day 1 feels different from the background quietness that many fasters describe by day 7. The body has settled into survival mode, and it is calm about it. Week 2 brings new developments. The body continues to mobilize fat stores. Cognitive function in many individuals actually remains surprisingly intact. Some people in controlled fasting studies report mental clarity, possibly due to the brain's adaptation to ketones. But physical performance declines noticeably. Endurance drops. Strength diminishes. The body is in a conservation mode, and it reduces any output that isn't essential to survival. If you tried to run a mile, you'd feel it. The energy is there in the fat stores, but the power output is rationed. There's a fascinating historical case that puts all of this in sharp relief. In 1965, a 27-year-old man in Dundee, Scotland, who weighed over 450 pounds, fasted under medical supervision for 382 days. Angus Barbieri consumed only water, tea, coffee, and vitamin and electrolyte supplements, and he lost 276 pounds. His case was written up in the medical literature and remains one of the most documented extended fasts in history. He reported feeling well for much of it, had regular checkups, and successfully maintained his weight loss afterward. His extraordinary fat reserves made his case possible, and it remains an extreme outlier, not a template. The Barbieri case is important because it illustrates something the biology already tells us. The duration a human body can survive without food is directly tied to how much stored energy it has. For someone with significant fat reserves, the body has enormous fuel to draw from. For someone lean, the same timeline is far more dangerous, because once fat reserves are depleted, the body must aggressively consume protein from organs and muscle, and that becomes life-threatening quickly. There is no single "how long can a human survive without food" answer. It depends entirely on the individual's body composition. By week 3 of a prolonged fast, the hormonal picture gets more complex. Thyroid hormone levels often decrease, which slows the metabolic rate, another survival adaptation to conserve energy. The immune system begins to feel the pressure of nutrient deprivation. Wound healing slows. The skin may begin to look drawn. Hair follicles, which are among the fastest dividing cells in the body, start to suffer from the deficit of building materials. These are the signs that the body's deep reserves are being steadily drawn down, and the systems that can be dialed back are being dialed back. And what about the gut? Here's something quietly remarkable. During extended fasting, the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that live in your intestines, shifts dramatically. Without food arriving, many species decline. The gut lining itself can begin to thin. This isn't inherently catastrophic in the short term, but it matters enormously for how and what you eat when you break the fast. The microbiome is deeply involved in immune function, mood, inflammation, and digestion, and rebuilding it after a long fast takes time and the right foods. The gut is not a passive tube, it's an ecosystem, and ecosystems respond to disruption. Now, let's talk about something people rarely consider when imagining a 30-day fast: the psychological dimension. Food is not just fuel, it is ritual, connection, comfort, culture. Birthdays, funerals, first dates, Sunday mornings, they all involve food. Removing it entirely for a month reshapes your relationship with every social moment that involves eating, which is nearly all of them. Studies of people in extended fasting programs report significant psychological effects. Some describe a kind of heightened awareness and emotional clarity, while others experience irritability, social withdrawal, and preoccupation with food that mirrors aspects of obsessive thinking. There's a darker edge here too. For individuals with any history of disordered eating, extended fasting can be profoundly dangerous, not just physically, but psychologically. The line between a disciplined fast and a dangerous restriction can blur in ways that are hard to see from the inside. This is not a moral judgment. It's a physiological and psychological reality. The body and mind are not separate systems. What you do to one, you do to both. So what does day 30 actually look like for a body that has survived? In a medically supervised extended fast with electrolyte and vitamin supplementation, a person with adequate fat reserves may be physically functional, mentally present, and metabolically stable. In an unsupervised fast without any supplementation, day 30 could involve dangerous electrolyte derangements, significant cardiac risk, severe muscle wasting, immune compromise, and psychological distress. The difference between those two outcomes isn't willpower, it's medical support, individual physiology, and those critically important micronutrients. And then comes the most delicate moment of the entire experience: eating again. Refeeding after a prolonged fast is not simply having a meal. The body has spent weeks recalibrating every metabolic pathway. Insulin is dormant. The digestive system has been quiet. The gut lining may be thinner, flooding the system suddenly with carbohydrates, which trigger a massive insulin spike, can cause a rapid shift of phosphate, potassium, and magnesium into cells, dropping blood levels dangerously fast. Refeeding syndrome has caused deaths. Medical protocols for breaking an extended fast are careful and graduated. Small amounts of easily digested food, close monitoring, slow escalation over days. Here's the synthesis, the thing that makes all of this more than just a list of dramatic medical facts. Your body's response to 30 days without food is not a story of collapse. It is a story of adaptation. Layer upon layer of evolutionary engineering kicks in to keep you alive. Hormonal pivots, fuel switching, cellular recycling, metabolic downregulation. It is among the most sophisticated biological performances in nature. But, and this is the crucial but, those adaptations were designed for the wild, not for a modern human who can choose to push them indefinitely. The body can endure, but endurance has a cost, and that cost compounds every day. The honest takeaway isn't that fasting for 30 days is heroic or insane. It's that your body is far more capable than you give it credit for, and far more vulnerable than it looks when you push past its natural limits without support. Intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, even multi-day medically supervised fasts, These are areas of legitimate and growing scientific interest. But they exist on a spectrum that ends somewhere very dangerous. And the line between biology and harm is not always visible until you've crossed it. You carry inside you one of the most resilient survival machines ever produced by 4 billion years of evolution. It can fast, it can adapt, it can rebuild, but it can also fail, and it will tell you long before it does if you're willing to listen. The body always sends signals. The question is whether we're paying attention to them. And that question leads somewhere interesting, because what happens when we do the opposite and never stop eating? What does constant overconsumption do to the very same systems we just watched adapt to nothing?